G'day everyone, welcome to the Bothy. I'm Chris.
G'day, I'm Al.
So this week, the Bike Boy, the true crime podcast was released.
Yep.
With a lot of new information, mate.
Yep, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, eye-opening. Really well done. Really well done to Rowan and Jackson for putting it together.
Yeah, did a good show.
Did a great show. It is season 1. It's 6 episodes, runs for around 70 minutes, and you can sit down and listen to it in one hit. Before we talk about that, though, we want to mention that there is about to be a bombshell announcement regarding Dan Andrews. We consider releasing this information here today, as we've had it confirmed now from a number of sources, but we feel that it's not our place to talk about this. We'll leave it to the family to deliver this information to the public, just as we would like this information delivered if it was regarding one of ours.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that. And next time we talk to you about this subject, you'll all know what we're talking about. We expect an announcement in the next few days. Now, the podcast. As we said, well done to Ryan and Jackson. Outstanding work, outstanding writing, great producing. It's high quality. It's informative. Pull up your most comfy chair, make yourself a cup of coffee, grab a couple of Tim Tams and sit down and listen to it.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
It's a really good listen. It actually went really fast. I was surprised.
Well, I didn't even realise it was that long.
No.
Because I went through the first one, then the second one, then the third one. Then I had my smoke out, and then I went back to it. But it didn't even really feel, because it was quite interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
They were very good at getting the point over.
Exactly right. So we're going to talk about the bits we've never talked about on this show. We're not going to go over...
No.
We're not going to go over stuff we've already talked about. So if you want to hear about those bits that are a little bit more in depth, go and listen to the podcast, but we're going to talk about the new evidence today. So the first point that stood out was there was no warning.
No, none.
No horn, no braking.
No.
If he or she is driving at 10 kilometres an hour.
Oh, you'd think there'd be some sort of noise.
Or braking.
Yeah.
Yeah. But nothing. 10 kilometres an hour is the speed they stated in their insurance claim, Mr. and Mrs. Andrews, and in their statements to the police. So there should have been time to brake and perhaps even hit the horn, you'd have thought.
10 kilometres an hour isn't exactly very fast, is it?
Exactly. Police shut down the investigation on day one. They didn't close off the crime scene. They didn't take any photos of the crime scene. They didn't interview the witnesses that presented on the crime scene. And, of course, they didn't perform a preliminary breast test, that we do know. These were just some of the 35 breaches.
35 breaches, mate.
To procedure.
That's ridiculous.
That would have been made on that day and in the days to follow.
Yep.
35.
Oh, that is just, that beggars belief, mate.
It does.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ryan is airlifted to hospital where he'll lose 90% of his spleen and have every drop of his blood replaced 6 times.
No.
They don't even take a photo of the scene, mate, or any measurements or anything.
I still can't believe it took 6.5 minutes or thereabouts to phone the ambulance.
Exactly right. Then leading Senior Constable Scott Hanley was first to respond, but when almost at the scene, he was called off by another unit who claimed they were closer. That would later be proved to be not true.
Yeah.
They weren't closer. In fact, they were
just leaving the station.
Exactly right.
Scott Hanley was the police officer who was first asked to attend the crash before he was inexplicably told to stay away. 13 years later, Scott is now a private detective working with Ryan and his family. Their goal? To get the criminal investigation into the crash reopened.
We'll be talking to Scott about his investigation and bringing you that interview pretty shortly over the next week or so. We hope we'll have a chat with Scott.
Yep.
And we'll bring that to you. The Major Crash Investigation Unit is required to be called in due to the nature of the accident and the injuries, but they weren't.
No.
Never called. Another breach.
Yep.
One of the 35.
I just can't believe that no camera footage. There was no shots of the accident or anything.
No.
That just doesn't make any sense, does it?
No.
Unless they were trying to cover it up.
Well, Scott said that he feels that there was some interference in the case rather than just a straightforward incompetency issue.
Yep.
He felt there did feel to be, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So the Ford Territory was driven away from the scene despite having a flat tyre, a smashed front end and a smashed windscreen.
Unbelievable.
What is interesting is it wasn't driven away with the kids in it.
No.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a minute. So Brad, a witnessing neighbour, saw Dan walk his kids home, not drive them away as claimed. While Brad could see that Ryan was in a great deal of pain, the Andrews didn't seem to care. They were more concerned with getting their kids away from the scene. Brad also said that it was him that went and stood on the intersection to direct traffic, not
Yep.
Dan. Dan never went near it.
Yep. So that's him perjuring himself,
Yeah,
lying about.
exactly
So,
right. Making himself sound good on the
Yep.
in the press conference. The police have never taken a statement from any of the attending witnesses, including Ryan, other than the witness statements handed to Victoria Police by the Andrews. So Brad was never interviewed.
The
The
woman,
nurse.
the original woman that phoned it in, not even interviewed.
No, Jane, the nurse who
No.
drove in behind the Andrews and rendered assistance.
Yep.
And Brad went back to the police a number of times to try and give a witness statement, and they weren't interested.
Just ridiculous.
So it's procedure that a second unit is called to the scene or to where the air ambulance will be landing, one or the other. This never happened. They never called the accident in. The attending police officers left the scene and went to where the air ambulance was waiting. They left a nurse who had arrived on the scene, Jane, to deal with the bike helmet, and Ryan's backpack. And she actually put them all in her car and drove them
Yeah.
to Peter's house.
Yeah, they left them there. They just left them.
They never went back to the scene. It's just a farce, mate.
What's happened to those cops recently?
I have no idea, mate.
I heard they got promoted
Well, they did get promoted
after that.
after, a few years after. The damage was proved to be front on. The damage repairer stated in their impact report that the damage was to the front of the car, not to the side where the mirror was,
Yep.
not to the side where the tyre was.
So he wasn't, as he says, T-boned.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Martha, a neighbour, was first to call 000. She was very worried. She could see blood seeping through the T-shirt and was worried for Ryan. So it was obvious something was wrong. Dan, on the other hand, was very measured when he called a few minutes later.
And extremely vague.
Does he appear to be completely awake?
I can't answer. I think he's a little bit groggy.
And is there any obvious injuries?
Not that I can see.
Is there any serious bleeding?
I don't believe so.
I mean, the lady on the phone, she said, "Can you see any blood?"
Yeah.
Not that I can see.
Well, it's hard to see from the beach house,
yeah.
if that's where he was. Who
Wherever
knows
he
where
was,
he was,
yeah.
mate. Yeah. We're struggling a bit today. It's only like 43,000 degrees in here with no air conditioning or power. So excuse us sweating a bit. So the question then is, was he even there, mate? So there was an investigation done into that, wasn't there?
Yep. And they checked for road noise behind the phone call. Nothing. Not a thing.
One of the busiest times of year on
They
that
said
road.
there's no way he was standing where he said he was standing, directing traffic.
Yep.
Perjuring himself again.
Again. Yep. Phone calls were made from the scene to the Labor Party. And this was where I think it gets a bit murky, mate. While the political machine's in motion trying to organise insurance, replacement windscreens, briefing their media advisors, Ryan's still lying on the road, mate.
Yeah. It's insane, mate.
It is.
It's like, poor kid.
It's a farce. Dan stated that the vehicle was travelling at 10 k's an hour, but Dr. Ray Shuey's investigation found that it was most likely that it was travelling at 40 kilometres an hour and on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
And we had a look at the intersection. If it's travelling at 10 k's an hour, where Dan said he was on the right side of the road, he can't hit the bike coming that
Yeah.
way. You'd see them.
But you know how the traffic is there. And any gap in the traffic, you're just going to floor it.
Yep.
Just to get round.
Dan said he stopped and they waited for cars to pass and then they slowly entered the intersection. Not perjury again, mate.
No. Surely not.
Not attempting to
No.
pervert the course of justice again.
Not at all. Not at all.
Jane, the nurse that happened upon the incident and gave assistance, provided a sworn statement that while she was trying to assist Ryan, Catherine Andrews went back to the vehicle and got into the passenger's seat. Dan Andrews then returned to the scene, having walked his kids home already, climbed into the driver's seat and they drove the car away.
Nothing to see here.
Now, we don't know who was driving. What I would say is that Catherine Andrews is 5 foot something and Dan Andrews is quite tall.
Yep.
There'd be a lot of mucking around with seats. And
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, is Brett Curran the missing link? Every time we put a Dan video out, mate, there's talk of who was the cop that was contacted. And I've got a feeling this is the people that they've been alluding to. So Brett Curran left the police force to work for the Labor Party and was with John Brumby and eventually as chief of staff for Dan Andrews leading into that election. He was called pretty much immediately after the crash. Before he left the Labor Party, he was quite a senior cop.
Yeah.
He ran the campaign and then, of course, he would have still had his contacts back at the police force. After the election, he left the Labor Party, went back to the police force, where he's now the assistant police commissioner.
Pretty high up.
Very high up. Yeah. This one staggers me, mate. The police initially refused to give the Millmans the driver's details.
Oh. And then when they did give them driver's details, they gave Catherine's maiden name.
Kessick.
It's like,
If you have an accident, you have to swap details.
Yep.
So when Peter said, all right, well, we've there's insurance and stuff, we need the driver's name. No, you can't have it. What do you mean I can't have it?
that's ridiculous.
It's interesting because Catherine Kessick is the name they wrote down at the scene as well. So that may well be the name she gave.
Yep.
Or maybe there's a story doctor there. The impact on Ryan was something else that really...
Oh, that poor guy's been through hell, isn't he?
I know, mate. It's, the physical and mental trauma of which there are still lingering effects. You could hear the emotion in his voice on the podcast. It was hard to listen to him speak, mate.
Yeah.
I found it hard. He describes life as hell, and sometimes it wants to take him to a place worse than hell. I don't know where that would be, but it doesn't sound good. What he did say is that public support does make him feel better and that it's vital to his healing.
And the fact that there's so many people that have backed him and believe him.
Exactly right.
When he didn't think that anybody believed him before.
Exactly right. Yeah, so every single person to watch this show and all the other shows that are out there on this and support them, you're all part of his healing process. So thank you all for that. The fact that the police visited Ryan on the day he got out of hospital
and said he was lucky that they weren't going to charge him.
He's a 15-year-old boy who's just spent 15 days in hospital.
Yeah.
And they go and say that. He then offers a statement. No, we've already done the investigation and you're guilty, but we're not going to charge you because you're a child. He starts to get upset. So the mother asks the police to leave. What a disgrace that they're causing that sort of distress. What's more disgraceful is that before they arrived at Ryan's mum's place, they rang Catherine Andrews to tell her what they were going to do.
Yeah. What the hell's it got to do with her?
Yeah. We're going around his place now to tell him he's lucky.
Yeah, I know. It just stinks, mate.
It absolutely stinks.
Big time.
What is good is it's great to hear that Ryan is now seeking the help that he deserves and he needs. So get well, mate. We're all with you. And we hope your recovery is short, although it's already been 13 years. There is a statute of limitations on motor vehicle accidents, but not on perjury and not on attempting to pervert the course of justice. And this is where Police Commissioner Mike Bush can step in. But there's a problem there, isn't there, mate?
Well, yes. Huge problem.
We'll come back to that. The investigation so far have been a little cursory at best. So Dan Andrews stated that the incident was fully investigated by IBAC and that the officers were cleared.
Yeah.
Except it wasn't.
Well, IBAC back to the cops and said it's up to you to deal with it.
The only aspect investigated was the preliminary breath test. All the other 34 points ignored. And IBAC decided to outsource the investigation back to Victoria Police, who said, nothing to see here.
That means you're investigating yourself.
Exactly.
It's like, who's going to do a good job of that?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was sweet. I was good.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here.
Absolutely crazy. So this is an issue when the 7 highest ranks in Victoria Police, covering hundreds of officers, are directly employed by the Victorian government, not by Victoria Police.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Neither did I. Yeah. So their contracts can be torn up at no notice, career over. And we wonder why they don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why should the government be employing all these police officers?
They're meant to work for the people.
Exactly right. So will Mike Bush reopen this investigation? It could be a very short.
Highly unlikely.
It could be a very short career. Let's hope he's bigger than that.
It doesn't make any sense. They didn't interview any of the prime witnesses that were there and didn't interview Ryan after the fact.
Yeah.
It's like, so you heard from 2 people who were trying to not getting a conviction or to be found innocent no matter what. It doesn't make any sense at all.
And the 2 that did get interviewed, I'm not sure that it was an interview, mate. It sounds more like statements written by a speechwriter handed to the police. That's not a statement asking questions back and forward. It was just
so they never interviewed Jane?
No.
They never interviewed
Brad?
The young fella that started to direct the traffic?
Brad? No.
And they never interviewed the lady that called initially, first, before he did?
Correct. None of them. Never spoke to any of them. And 2 of those have made sworn statements that what they're saying is true, and both of them have tried to be interviewed by the police and been knocked back.
That just tells you it stinks to high heaven.
Exactly right.
There's been an injustice here, and it's just so wrong.
So the evidence does point to a new investigation being warranted, but at what cost to those that decide to take that on? Please watch the full podcast. It is a real eye-opener and definitely talks to some suspicious, possibly even unethical activity.
Oh, completely.
On the part of the Labor Party and on the part of Victoria Police. Okay, so we're going to talk to Scott Hanley, who was the leading senior constable who first responded He's since left the police force. 20 odd years he's been in the police force. Now he's left and he's now heading up the investigation on behalf of the Mulemans.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
So he's agreed to have a chat with us early next week. Once we've got that interview done, we will do another episode. You'll hear the answer to the very hard-hitting questions, no doubt, that we can come up with.
Finally.
Finally, exactly right. Let us know what you think, everybody. This has got fur all over it.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
And stand by for a massive announcement in the next few days on Dan Andrews.
Yep, definitely.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
See ya.